Kingston City Hall is a gem in our community, and here to tell us about being a tour guide at Kingston City Hall, I have Aalyiah Strachan. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
So, big season coming up.
Yep.
The restrictions are gone. So we're back to, well, normal.
Ideally.
Ideally.
We still are open to people who choose to wear face masks, but if you do not want to, it's not an obligation. And we're happy to see the influx of people return to the city.
Oh, absolutely. This should be a good year for tourism.
I believe so. I hope so.
I hope so. People are just dying to go someplace, and Kingston is such a great place to come and visit. And City Hall tour, well, it's free. You can't beat that. You can't beat that. But being a tour guide, well, full disclosure, I've been one of your tour guides for 10 years and love every minute of it. What kind of people are you looking for to be tour guides?
We're looking for people who are open to learn, people who are enthusiastic, people who want to be a part of the community and transfer that knowledge to other people, and personality-wise. But also, we do have some requirements, one of which is a CPIC, because we do work with the community, so it's important that we have that.
Okay, tell us what a CPIC is.
A CPIC is essentially known as a police check, because we do work with vulnerable members of the community from all ages, all demographics, and it's just a legal requirement that we have to follow.
And if I remember, there's two different levels. The one is just a regular check, and the other is to work with vulnerable, like children and people.
Exactly, yes.
And you need the other one, the bigger one.
We do need the vulnerable sector check.
However, that's what it's called, right?
We do reimburse this cost to our volunteers because
Okay.
we realize that this is important. This is important work. We want to be able to support people regardless of monetary needs.
And it's just a matter of walking into the police station and getting it. It's
Exactly.
not really I didn't find it was too difficult. So, okay, so you need that. How about speaking another language?
Speaking another language is very helpful. It's not an obligation, but we do welcome tourists from all over the world. And so we do see an influx of people moving into the area with a secondary or primary language. So it does help. Currently, we have staff who can provide tours in English, of course, French. We have some volunteers who do Mandarin, Ukrainian, and those languages. But we would love to offer a large variety to people from all over the world.
It really does make a difference.
It does.
And the French speakers, of course, and a lot of the students that we have are bilingual, so that is really useful. Mm-hmm. And the other thing I found was to know your community, because people are always asking you for recommendations on what else can they do and where's a good place to go and eat and all those kinds of things. And one time you guys used to give us a pass so we could go to all the other museums without cost, and the trolley ride, and those, are you going to be bringing that back? That was good.
It is a pretty good sweet benefit, and we are actively working to reinstate that for our beloved volunteers. And it does help to give free and discounted admission to them, again, for their personal value and personal enjoyment, but to provide better service to our visitors as well. We do other things as well, like we're hoping to do a summer barbecue with volunteers and students, and that would be fun outdoor activities, and plus there's food.
That's right, the food, yes, of course. And then the end of the season, you have a big wrap-up party for us.
We do a large dinner to show our appreciation for all our volunteers, their hard work, usually around Thanksgiving time.
And it's always well done, and it's a really, and we don't always see the other volunteers, so the other tour guides, so it's kind of fun to mingle with them as well. Now, there's a lot of stairs to climb. There's a lot of stairs. There's the elevator, but it's a lot of walking. And I find it's a lot of trying to watch people and walking backwards. I seem to spend most of the tour walking backwards. So it's there's a physical cost involved here too, but you got to deal for the ones who don't want to do a whole lot of walking. We need ambassadors. Tell us about that.
We do have a lot of stairs naturally. However, for those who need it, we have an elevator, which they can access whether you are a visitor or a volunteer, which is very helpful. In terms of ambassadors, if you don't feel like the tour and public speaking is for you, our ambassadors, you help everybody organize the tours, you help welcome visitors from all over, help give directions within City Hall, because yes, it is a historic site, but it is an office space at the end of the day, and we do serve the public as well. So our ambassadors are a great asset to the team.
They sure are, because they keep us organized and corral people until we can get back and start another tour. And yeah, they're good schmoozers.
Exactly.
But so what happens if somebody says, well, geez, I'd love to be a tour guide, but gee, I don't know that much about City Hall.
All the training is provided.
Okay.
So when I first started, I didn't know anything about City Hall, but thankfully we have great tour curators who are able to show you through the tour, to give you a brand new handbook that we're working on as well.
Ooh, good.
To give you all the information that is required, as well as all the volunteers are very supportive. People like yourself who have been here for years are able to offer support to the new members to fill in those knowledge gaps. And also it's a learning experience. You learn as you go along. You pick up the important pieces, you make it your own, and you tell the story.
So you get talking points, as they call them, and those are the points that they really do want you to bring into every tour.
Yes.
But then beyond that, you make it your own. And the stories that you find interesting. And some of the tour guides, because I like taking other people's tours as well, because I pick up, steal some of their jokes and things, but some take a military background to it. So because of course we have that, and others mine's more of the social history, which I find interesting, and others it's the architecture of the building that they really start to stress, and so it's really you really do make it your own. So no two tours are ever alike, and no two tour guides are ever alike.
I agree.
Yeah.
That also helps with understanding the background of the guests, because sometimes we may have school groups that come in from different backgrounds, and you can give them the information that they are most interested in as well.
What are the advantages for some, locals? We love having the locals. Yeah. Like, come on, guys, this is your tax dollar at work. Come on in and take a tour of City Hall. And some people, I'm always surprised when they say they've never been beyond they've gone in to pay a parking ticket. They've never gone beyond that. And I just, wow, really? But there's parts that they can only see with the tour guide.
Exactly, yes.
So it's worth taking the tour, not just coming in and wandering around. So let's start at the top. You get to go where if you have a tour guide with you?
So my favorite personal one is the jail cell in the basement.
Oh, in the basement,
which is locked, and you need a tour guide to get in there. It's an original jail cell. It's pretty interesting. It's old. It's kind of creepy, a little bit scary, which I adore. In addition to that, we do have the clock tower, which we are currently renovating. But that is accessible as well. So yeah, it's little like behind the scenes sneak peeks that are not available to the public without an accompanied guide.
Is when you look up and you see that clock at the top of City Hall. That's where you can go if you have the tour guide with you. But the jail cells are funny. You know, we have stories that what got you in trouble back in those days, and you know, it was kind of it's fun. But I think my favorite moment is when you walk into Memorial Hall, and you just people don't expect it. And if it's a sunny day and those stained glass windows, they're magnificent, and people will just stop cold, go, wow. And that's one of my favorite moments.
Yeah, the architecture in Memorial Hall is very nice. And the glasses that you're referring to, I like how each and every one tells a different story, which is a very unique aspect and like a lot of buildings might not have.
The detail in them is, you can stand there and stare at one and always see something a little different, the detail, even down to one of the soldiers with a cigarette and just the little things like that. But they depict various aspects of the First World War and Canada's part in the First World War. So we can get into a little bit of that, and there's a whole plaque of the ones that we lost, the youngest being 15 years old, that I always point out. And I'll often, if there's a teenager in the group, and I'll say something like, how old are you? You know, well, this guy was 15 years old, lost his life. And it just kind of, wow, yeah. It's a nice way to see the city, to understand our city, and you learn so much, and you meet really nice people. I can't say enough about it.
People are the best part, in my opinion.
Oh, they are, yeah. They're always interested, and it's a really nice gig. And you guys are good to your volunteers. In fact, you've got a meeting coming up where you'll be able to give us more information about what the next season looks like.
Yep, so
now,
we are meeting.
It's short notice for some people, but come on out if you can.
So our first meeting is going to be on Tuesday, May 9th at 9 a.m. at City Hall. This is going to be the first gathering of all our City Hall volunteers to provide uniforms to those who might need it, and also to get people their bus passes or their parking passes if it is required for them as well. And then we get to meet each other, meet with the curator, go through everything, and if anybody has any questions, we can work through it and start off with a really good positive note for the season.
So if somebody might be working that day, and it's a Tuesday, it's the 9th of May, if somebody's working, does that mean they can't be a tour guide in the summer?
Not at all. We do have some high school students who are not going to be starting until later in the season, so that is an option for those who need their volunteer hours to graduate. So what we will be doing is either pairing them up with a more experienced individual or providing an additional meeting for them to meet with the curator or museum assistants like myself to go through everything and answer any questions.
All right. Well, I hope lots of people get in touch, and the information is there on the screen. And I can't wait to get started again, so I'll look forward to seeing a whole bunch of you this summer.
Thank you. See you soon.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.